welcome to Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnocky, and I am joined, as always, by Matt Stewart and Jess Perkins. And before I get them to say anything, I'm going to say that this is a very,
I'm
very...
going to say something quickly.
Hang on, yeah, quick. Hi, Dave. Good to see you.
Mike's off.
Hey,
Mike's
Dave,
off.
I'm
Oh,
good, you too.
Nice T-shirt.
How are you going?
it's an average T-shirt, but
There's
that's
someone else here too.
That's all right. It's the first ever time that we are joined by a fourth host. You have heard him before, but we've never been in the same room all at the same time together, and that is the man, the magic, the fourth Do Go Oner, that is Nick Mason.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Thanks for having me here for the third episode of Do Go On.
Yeah, the other episodes are just in between episodes.
I like to think so.
Not official
We
canon.
had a good time with that first episode where I did the Marvel thing, and then the second episode where you did the Elvis. And
Elvis. You are doing, you're sort of pulling more than your fair share of weight, having done 2 of the 3 reports.
episodes, right? Exactly.
But thank
Well,
you
look,
for that.
One day, Dave.
Ugh.
One day what?
I can only imagine Dave's reports would be shit. He'd rush them at the last minute, and they'd be just, very quick, a paragraph, probably padded out.
And still somehow dry as fuck. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the only bit that's accurate. But anyway, guys, how are you? Jess, you haven't said very much. So
Well, I tried, but you said before I let them speak, which is typical Warnocky. But I am pretty well, thank you.
Patriarchy.
I know.
well, speaking of patriarchy, how about we talk about the Patreon-y?
Ooh.
At the time of recording, we are a week ahead. We have released our Patreon this week, and we've already had a lot of support from people supporting the show. So we'd just like to say thank you to everyone that did that. And we set up our first goal. You can set goals, May, so if you're not sure if you're familiar with Patreon. And if you eclipse that goal, a little red bar gets full, and everyone seems happy. But we asked,
Seems happy.
we asked, yeah, well, they're
Not on
probably
the
not.
inside.
Yeah.
Deep down.
We asked
Sadness.
We asked for a little bit of money to buy a 6-pack of beer so Matt could drink on the podcast again, as people always tweet in they love Matt's drunken episodes. And Matt, we're going to do it.
Magical.
That was nice. That was nice.
So this episode brought to you by Patreon and Kolsch, sponsoring Matt's alcohol addiction. What was your thing before, Matt? You've already had 12 beers today, so you actually said that.
And a cider.
And a cider. Takes the edge off.
I like that he looked quite defensive, but then it was, and a cider.
Get your facts
Thank you.
right,
Come
Warnocky.
on. Hey, while we're mentioning Patreon and other people supporting us, Matt and I did a gig on Thursday in Ballarat. And
Thursday a week ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
By
but
the time you hear this,
By
yeah.
the time you hear this, but
Look, enough curtain lifting, Warnocky. This is live.
Whenever you're listening, we are recording it live. Yes, you, Derek.
there's got to be one.
There's
Derek's
gotta be
tweeted.
one. Right, come on.
There's got to be a Derek.
Statistically.
Anyway,
I mean, we listen to everyone on the whole planet.
There's got to be a Derek.
If you're listening on an oil derrick, that's also a thing.
An oil derrick.
Yeah, an oil derrick.
What's an oil derrick?
It's an oil rig. It's a fancy name for it.
Oh,
They
that
call it
is
derrick.
They call
fancy.
it derrick.
Never thought of Derek being a fancy name.
The nerdiest kind of, right?
Hey, that's what this show's all about. It's built on learning
Derek.
and laughing at Derek.
Anyway, that's my report, guys.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Thanks
facts
for
about
Funny
Derek.
names for oil rigs.
No, but anyway, Jess, you were doing a shout out to Ballarat.
Yes, so we did a gig in Ballarat, and a couple of listeners came down, Josh and Connor, and they saw Matt and I do some stand up, and politely said it was good. So that was very nice of them. But no, it was just really cool to meet them. So I just wanted to say a little shout out to say thanks.
And I believe that they contributed to the hat.
They did.
Not digitally as usual.
Yeah, the first ever handwritten suggestion that was submitted to the hat. Very
And
exciting.
can I ask, has it already been lost?
No, it's in the
No.
hat.
It's in the hat, yeah. It's in the hat.
Matt's checking his pockets. It's in the hat.
Nah, it's in the hat.
It's in the hat. So that was really
good.
cool.
Very good. They're Ballarat-based suggestions as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, good.
A little bit of sizzle there
Yeah,
for maybe a few months down the track.
The 1947 Ballarat Premiership. Ooh.
The pancake parlour. Mm.
You been peeking in my hat again, Meso?
Yes.
Stop it.
Well, he could have been, because Meso, we've asked you back and we've made you do all the work yet again. We've asked you to do a report yourself.
Yeah, this
I'm
came
ready,
up.
guys.
This came up the first time around. You did Marvel.
We talked about, Marvel and the great Stan the Man Lee, who was sort of the icon, sort of this, Marvel's kind of kindly uncle who kind of,
Ripped off ideas.
Well,
and-
he's sort of, he's this great salesman, and he sort of had a hand in creating sort of hundreds of characters for Marvel, but also he it's in a lot of people have said that he sort of diminished the contributions of a lot of other people that sort of helped him out with that.
Oh,
and
sure.
so that that's kind of a good through line to Marvel. And I'm like, well, I should come back and talk about DC because I'm sure there'll be a fun, avuncular kind of grandpa figure.
Avuncular?
Like an uncle.
That's
like
a great
cuddly
word.
Uncle. 2 words. We've learned 2 words this time around.
Avunk
and Derek.
And
Oh,
Derek.
Yeah. 3.
But yeah, so I was like, I'll talk about DC
And
comics.
we've had listeners tweet in like regularly since then, asking when it was going to happen.
well,
wait no bloody longer.
well, because we're not doing it. Because
We're
look,
not
honestly,
doing the DC Stan Lee.
yeah, there's no DC Stan Lee. There just isn't.
But that could have like rolled off your tongue for the whole.
I know,
We
it
would have
would've
called
been
the episode DC
DC
Stan Lee.
right? If only it was so easy. But like DC, I mean, Marvel was all about sort of breaking away from the mainstream and doing their own thing. And in many ways, DC was the mainstream. So
Sure.
there's going to be DC based. There's DC related.
Is it? No, I'm actually excited for that because I was expecting DC, and usually when we walk into the room and I'm not reporting, I don't know what we're going to talk about at all. And now I feel like I don't know, so it's good.
Yeah, because I'm sort of brought in. You guys know what's happening, and my question was going to be, what was the thing that I did last time? But it's the other one, which is DC. But luckily we
great.
found a way around that. So my question is, it's got a little bit of a lead up. So in February of the year 2000. The police were called to the fancy Bel Air neighborhood in Los Angeles, to a mansion. This was not the home of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but the Fresh Prince of acting, Nicolas Cage. It was Nicolas Cage's house, and he'd called them in to report a theft. He was enraged because because something had gone missing from his mansion. See,
His skill.
Hang
he is an
on.
Oscar-winning actor.
His ability to choose good films.
Well, fair. I feel that
His relevance?
Yeah, I feel
Nick.
I feel his process is that every couple of months his agent comes in, he's got a big stack of scripts, and he's like, okay, we've got a romantic comedy, we got an action film, we got a blah blah, and he just takes the first one off the stock and he just goes, that one, that'll do.
I bet he
I want
does.
that one.
Yeah, but he's also known as an incredible Oscar-winning actor living in Las Vegas.
That's right.
But also he's sort of an obsessive collector. So he's an obsessive collector of things. So his house is...
So he's literally never left Las Vegas.
In a way.
He's an
I don't know what that meant, but I just thought I'd agree with
Yeah,
it.
good call.
I
That's
don't know
what
if
we
you know,
do.
but Derek is the name of an oil rig. So we've all learned something.
Well, if you've come away with one fact, it's that one.
Okay.
So the question is...
Wait, Nick.
Yes?
He's an obsessive collector of
There we
bad movies.
Nice.
Roles. Yeah, thank you.
Got him.
Because was it Nicolas Cage and Leonardo DiCaprio last year that had a bidding war over a
This was in 2007. He
tried to bid on some sort of
dinosaur
fossil?
skull. Nicolas Cage has a collection of dinosaur skulls.
Of course he does.
But
Yeah.
who won that one? Him versus Leo. They're both
That was
throwing...
Nicolas Cage.
Firstly, Dave, you said, was that last year? It was in 2007.
Well, they might have a continual war going on.
How
I'm not
slowly
sure.
is your life going? Or quickly?
Well,
Which one would it be?
We are talking about dinosaurs. I mean, in the scheme of things, 1 year, 9
Yeah.
years.
Well played.
Oh, I don't want this dinosaur skull anymore. It's from 2007.
Did one of them have to give it? Did they have to give it back because it was stolen or something?
Nicolas Cage had to give one of his dinosaur skulls back to Mongolia because it was stolen from the
Sorry,
the nation of
Mongolia.
Mongolia. Yeah. But
Dear
the
Mongolia.
thieves went right past his collection of dinosaur skulls. They went past his collection of shrunken heads.
Ew.
They went past his $500,000 1955 Jaguar D-Type that he had assembled in his lounge room. You can't get it through the doors. They had to.
They
take it
they
apart
built it in
and
his
built it in his lounge room.
He sounds like fun.
Yeah,
But
so
what's the purpose of that? Do you rev it?
you rev it for guests.
Hear that, baby? From Rome.
Does one rivet?
Just one rev the. But the thieves did not steal any of that.
But because it was literally impossible to drive it.
In a way, sure. What do you think they stole? If I can give you a hint,
Was it his Oscar statue?
no, I'll give you a hint. The man who they brought in, the detective they brought in, his name was Don Hrychek, and he is the head, or he was at the time, the head of the LAPD's art theft unit.
Oh,
so it's
I'm
gotta
going to
be
guess some sort
comic
of
art.
art.
Yes.
Some
He
sort of
was a
Picasso?
he was a detective. Was he like a DC? Is that a kind of detective?
Detective.
No, Pete. Is that what's the? PI.
you
PI.
You think
I'm thinking of PI.
You might be thinking of
I'm thinking of
DCI.
PI.
You're thinking of the bill.
Yeah,
DCI.
DCI, okay, great.
No,
yeah.
DC is also a thing. Detective Constable.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
good. That's what I was
Didn't you
thinking
used
of.
to
That's what
love
you're
the
thinking
bill?
of.
I
Yeah.
love. That's why I know because I love the
Yeah.
bill. And
Yeah.
DCI is Detective
You're
Chief
next.
Inspector.
Oh, very good.
We talked about that on First Date with Jess.
Yeah, it goes
You
like
love the bill.
Constable, Sergeant, Chief Inspector.
So the
Thank
thing
you
I
very
said
much.
wasn't
Sorry.
dumb.
In a way.
Just
It was
recapping.
kind of pretty
Is
dumb.
it
In a way.
his copy
Yes.
of Action Comics #1 featuring Superman?
Yes, it is. Amazing. Good work, Dave.
How'd
Thank you very
know?
much.
Yeah.
I know a bit about Nicolas Cage and his dinosaur skulls,
Yeah.
but not enough to know that it was 9 years ago and not.
Well, I mean, some facts you might know about Nicolas Cage. So he's actually Nicholas Coppola. So he's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh.
And his stage name is Nicolas Cage after Luke Cage, the Marvel Comics character, who now has a Netflix series. So that's a little bit tidbit.
And is he in the series? Does he get a cameo?
No, you don't see him.
You think he'd demand one?
You'd think so.
All right. Also, his second son, who I think is 8 or 9 right now, his name is Kal-El.
And is that
That
Superman's
is
real
Superman's,
name?
that is Superman's Kryptonian name.
Okay,
So
so Nicolas Cage, huge nerd.
Oh, no.
Oh, got
But
him!
who would you say is a bigger Superman fan, Jerry Seinfeld or Nicolas Cage?
I think if you're naming your kid after,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you are,
How
that
do you
is a-
spell that? That's not a normal looking
No,
name.
that's KAL-EL.
Oh,
That's his.
no.
And is
Yeah,
he a
that's-
Cage
that's
or
a burden.
or a Coppola?
He's Kal-El Coppola, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool, actually.
Right?
He sounds like a rapper. DJ Kal-El Coppola.
A DJ or a rapper, Jess? Please.
A DJ, then, Matt.
A DJ who dabbles.
Yeah.
DJ Dabbler. Kal-El
Kal-El
Coppola.
Dabbler.
KL Dabbler. KL Dabs.
That was good.
Yeah. So Action Comics #1, first appearance of Superman. So I decided today we'd talk about Superman because it's got a fun little wrinkle. What do you guys think about Superman? For some people,
I reckon he's bloody super.
Now I think I already made my opinion known on the Marvel episode. We briefly talked about some sort of DC thing. So
Yep.
Superman, I think I find him a bit when he's too good,
Yeah,
a little bit
It's a
dull
bit boring.
too
'cause
good
it's
at
so
his
good.
job or too good as a man.
as a man.
Oh.
Well, how many roads must a man go down
That's
before
absolutely
he
right.
is
yeah.
Kal-El?
He's because he's almost unstoppable.
Invincible
apart from,
kind of thing, right?
Correct.
But he's also he's a bit of a good boy, right?
Well, I think a lot of people will say, and I think we did talk about this in the previous episode. You know, he's kind of a one-dimensional goody two shoes. He's kind of he can do anything. He can he can juggle planets. He can fly around the world backwards and turn back time.
Is there anything he's bad at? Is he like sexually awkward or something like that? That would be amazing if he just like couldn't make the first move.
Well, it's-
That I would like him a lot more if
well,
they
I
talked
think
about that.
I think maybe it's actually the other way. There was a famous essay written a few years ago called "Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex," which details the physics of Superman having sex with a mortal woman, and it's
Not good.
not good for
Oh,
anyone, but
he's-
mostly Lois Lane.
Sure.
Yeah.
Some people have too much time, I feel.
So what were they saying that the physiology of the two of them
Yep.
would leave one rendered
Correct.
hurt
Yes.
by any encounters?
Precisely.
does he? I mean, does he even have a human dick?
Well, you
Has
see,
it
lots of-
ever
I mean,
been
he has a
seen?
son. He has a son now. In the comic books, he has a son.
And
So-
Lois is the mum.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
Did he have to go in a cup?
is she now in a wheelchair?
No one know, guys.
She's very
Take bloody. Come on, guys. Come on. No, it's fine. You can. It's good.
That's good
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, so a lot of people sort of question the relevance of Superman, but like in terms of like here's the origin of the term. Like when you think superhero, that's the
Yeah, is that why they're called superheroes?
Yes,
because
yes, it
he's
is.
super. Oh.
yeah.
Well, a bit of credit there.
Yeah.
That is
I mean,
pretty cool.
until Superman arrived, there was no such thing as there was we had the
Yellow
Phantom.
Man.
We had the Yellow Kid. He was
The Yellow Kid.
the first comic book character.
Yellow man.
And
We had-
did you just say the Phantom? Okay,
did say
because
Phantom.
all right, I'm going to bring this up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
The first episode Nick Mason was on, we talked about superheroes. I felt a little embarrassed to reveal my favourite superhero. Then when I was away in Iceland, not at Nazi camp as some of you will say.
Hey, none of us said that right now,
And you
mate.
did
You
the
brought that up.
and Matt did the Elvis episode. Somehow the Phantom came up, and you all laughed at how shit the Phantom was. The Phantom is my favourite comic book character.
He's also
that
Sammy
makes sense.
J's favourite comic.
Sammy J?
Yeah.
Yes, he's-
And Zach from Arnie Donna.
Yeah.
This studios is full of weird Phantom
And
people.
do I
Yeah.
need to remind you, Nick
we
Mason
are behind a waterfall here. So.
and Matt Stewart was there as well, actually. Do you remember this conversation? One night after a gig here in Melbourne,
Do you have the clip ready to go?
we went out for dumplings with a group of comedians. Matt Stewart was there. I was there. Nick Mason was there. Now US superstar Ronnie Chang was there.
That's right.
Buying dumplings and forcing me to eat them because I'm too thin. He was worried about me.
I don't
Anyway,
know if...
We were talking about superheroes, and I revealed that my favourite was the Phantom. And Ronnie Chang, now US superstar, laughed at me for about 5 minutes about how shit the Phantom was. Do you have any recollection of that? Because I have not forgotten it.
No,
And
I
I've been too embarrassed to talk about the Phantom ever since.
But you will when you can name drop Ronnie Chang, though. Eh?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, we know Ronnie
Superstars
Chang.
on the Daily
Yeah, good
Show,
for
isn't
you.
he?
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, not only do I know him, he once bullied me at a Chinese restaurant.
Not okay, Ronnie.
Yeah. But I do love the Phantom. I'm a
Yep.
big fan. Is that in the comic book world
Yes.
that you dabble in?
Oh,
Lisa?
yes.
Well, more than dabble. Is the Phantom laughed at by people that aren't obsessed like myself or Sammy J? Or something?
No, I think he's just had a bad run. Like he had, there was I think he's a character where maybe the time has passed for that sort of genre. Like he's sort of stuck in the sort of 1920s, 1930s kind of era. And they attempted one movie with Billy Zane in the title role.
I
And
liked that movie.
You did?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Nice
Sure,
one.
it's fun.
What year
Bless
was
you.
that? I was a child.
96?
I reckon,
So
because-
96 or 7.
'cause I reckon-
So I was 6 or 7.
And,
Yeah, right, exactly.
And McDonald's did the tie-in and the Happy Meal. You
Yes.
could get the skull rings.
Yeah, and I can't, to be honest, haven't seen it since. So probably watching it now as an adult would have a different opinion. But I remember it fondly from my childhood.
But is there a reason why they couldn't give it the Captain America treatment?
Oh, and reboot him in the future. They keep trying. There's heaps set in them because he's a descendant. Like he's the current one in a long line of Phantoms. So you can set him basically anywhere. There's one set in 2040. The Defenders of the Earth is set in the future. Right. But yeah, it just never latches on. I mean, there's plenty of diehard fans and there's some good stories, but it's not. Yeah.
Is there a chance? Because it's from some other weird third company, isn't it? Is there a chance
King
that
Feature Syndicate? Yes.
maybe one of the good ones could buy it and make it into a good thing?
No, both Marvel and DC have tried.
Oh,
They've
really?
tried.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why would these people not want to make billions of dollars? Why would you say no to Marvel knocking on your door?
No.
Wait, you mean they've tried to do it, or they've
Yeah,
tried
no,
to buy it?
Marvel and DC have both had Phantom series over the years.
Right, and they just failed.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. I thought
that's
you meant.
fizzled a
I
bit.
thought you meant they tried to buy it.
Oh,
and these King
and
Features
Lee,
were like,
the estate of Lee Falk was like, no,
yeah,
sir.
I think I know what we're doing.
So yeah, so the idea of a man in tights meeting out justice. We had the Phantom, we had Flash Gordon, we had Buck Rogers, we had those kind of guys. But this was, they were humans with a little bit of an edge, and they were kind of they were just regular human beings, more or less. But Superman, they were like, okay, well, what if we gave him all the powers? What if he was the mightiest man in the universe, kind of thing? And so
Should have called him Mighty Man.
there is a mighty man. It's taken. Yeah. Try and name another superhero. I bet they exist.
Microphone stand adjusting man.
Oh.
You've got me.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Dave.
Copyright.
It sounds fucking terrible.
The estate of Lee Falk has tried to
Wow.
buy it.
What about, say, realistically,
Okay,
something that's a positive word and then a type of human or thing?
The first one was, I thought of Superman.
He's so iconic.
What about excellent man? Mr. Excellent? That sounds
There's a Mr. Terrific.
fucking hell.
This is terrific. This is great.
Captain Fun.
If I can cover all the bases, Hydro Man's real.
Glorious
Owl Man
Girl.
is real.
He's looking
pointing
around
at
the
things. So he
room.
pointed at a bottle of water. Our Man was his watch.
Duff Man.
Duff
Duff
Man's
Man.
real. Yep.
Mild alcoholic dependency man.
That's Iron Man.
That's
He's a
Matt
drunk.
Stewart. That's Matt Stewart.
Also Matt
Oh,
Stewart.
hang on.
Yep. Gotcha, mate.
No,
Fuck
thank
you.
God.
Yeah, so I mean, so we start off with Action Comic number 1. That was in 1938. 10-cent cover price.
10 cents.
Bargain at the time.
Was that a bargain at the time?
No, it was about standard.
And what's this? 1938?
This is
I saw
1938.
A good year.
Very
Yeah.
good year.
I just wanted to jump on.
And so Superman didn't get the whole issue. It was like an anthology issue. Various other characters. Marco Polo, famous adventurer, got a historical.
Marco Polo. Did he have superpowers?
No, just regular.
Oh.
Yawn,
thing,
am I
Dave.
right?
Snooze.
Superman was the first one to have
Captain
superpowers.
Snooze,
Dave.
he's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Captain
exactly. Yeah, that's right. He's one of our own.
Just saying.
Superman only got 13 pages in the first issue, so
Was it a whole story or a to be continued type?
it was a series of stories.
Oh.
So he had a one-page origin. That was one of the pages. He finds a man who's beating up his wife, and he just thumps him.
Nice.
So that's good.
But like kills him.
No, he doesn't die.
Oh, okay.
Probably wishes he was dead. But
Superman doesn't kill people, right? Or is
Mostly.
that Batman?
Batman doesn't. Superman has from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
If
Superman.
yeah, I know, right? Set a good example,
Such a
mate.
good
Come on.
boy.
Yeah,
Killing
he
occasionally.
saves a woman from the electric chair, wrongly convicted.
Oh.
And he.
But do they just recapture her and try again?
No. He goes to court. He
Yeah,
presents
that's
new
right.
evidence.
New evidence. Mm.
Just very, very fast.
He gets
Yeah.
a law degree to do so. You know.
Fucking would.
He didn't save Stompy the elephant, though.
Oh
from the,
no.
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 Don't bring that up again. That made me so sad.
That was really sad. Thomas Edison, you maniac.
You
Thomas Edison, man?
Electric?
Electro. Yeah, supervillain Electro. Static. Lightning Lad.
Lightning
Lad. Yeah. Yeah.
There aren't that many
That's
good
Smith
girl
Edison.
ones. Aren't
Yeah,
there?
name some good
names?
girl ones.
Batgirl.
Supergirl.
Wonder Woman.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Yeah. She-Hulk, superhero and lawyer. Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
That is a very silly.
Dr. X and Y
Oh, yes.
instead of Dr. X.
Chromosomes.
Chromosomes. I get
Chromosome
it.
joke.
X and Y would be a man, though.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Otherwise, everyone would have immediately got that. Jess is still laughing at She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Why is She-Hulk funny? Surely Electric Lad or whatever's funny, isn't it?
Lightning Lad.
Like,
I'm looking up Lightning Lad.
So dumb.
Nick's done a really nice thing and come in here
no.
today.
He
and
didn't invent She-Hulk.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not laughing at
Look,
Nick.
you know what? I'll take my laughs where I can get them. Let's try it again. She-Hulk.
is She-Hulk respected? Are we going to be chastised for laughing at She-Hulk?
No. She-Hulk is a. She-Hulk received a blood she's the regular Hulk's cousin. She received a blood transfusion from the original Hulk, and she's also a lawyer. So
That's the funniest part of
she's
all.
Yeah.
very
Jess,
accomplished.
still laughing.
Jessica.
Still
Show
laughing
us
at
your
the
law degree,
lawyer
Jessica.
She-Hulk.
Jessica Perkins. No, it's still pretty funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
What would it have been fun? Like, I don't know where you would go with it though, because all the other ones it ends in man, so you just
Yeah.
flip that. But
Right.
Hulk has got nowhere to
She-Hulk.
grip onto. Mrs. Hulk.
Mrs. Hulk, exactly. Yeah, Mrs. Hulk. if you
Lady
don't mind.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Could it just be?
Hulk lady.
Yeah, but because if it was
Hulkette.
just Hulk, it would be confusing, right? It's like I'm just the woman Hulk, but I just call Hulk because it's not right that I should have to. He doesn't have to have a Mr. Hulk. Why should I?
Oh shit,
You're absolutely
that's
right.
funny.
I mean,
That's
we're,
funny.
we're digging deep into something here. Like a lot of.
Is
a
this?
lot of
Do you reckon this is how most of them are created?
Yeah.
4 people sit around and just like
Probably.
back and forth until they're like, yeah, chick Hulk.
Yeah,
chick
what's
Hulk.
I'm actually really glad. This is so off topic, but I'm really glad my dad was not aware of She-Hulk because when I was
You might have been named She-Hulk as a child.
because when I was like 12, because I always played basketball since I was about 7, and when I was 12, they changed the rules so that girls played with smaller basketballs.
Wow.
Because they decided girls are weaker, but we were used to the bigger ones. So then I would always throw the ball out of court because I
You're
I
too
would throw it
strong.
stronger than. And my
Yeah.
dad always used to go like, "Nice pass, Igor." But She-Hulk would have been
She-Hulk
much
would have been-
funnier.
Yeah, yeah.
She-Hulk.
Is that a thing for professional, like people in the WNBL, the Women's National Basketball League? Do they play with smaller balls?
I couldn't say for sure, but like I still play basketball and we play with a 6 and the men play with a 7. So I would probably assume
That is bizarre.
it's so
in
weird.
the new women's AFL league, they're going to play with a smaller ball,
Yeah.
and with 2 less players on the field.
Oh,
Why-
same size field.
Same size field. Well, I mean, they're all randomly sized anyway in AFL.
Why- but
yeah.
why-
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why less players? Is that
Less
'cause
players?
there's-
It's just they reckon it's a better way to play
Just
football.
less bitchy that way.
Yeah.
Just less bitchy.
Yeah.
They've done science
That's
and
why they're
18
two
girls.
less. That's why they're 2 less players. 2 of them are always going off the side to bitch about the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still
No,
there.
because one's
They're
always
just-
offended and has to go, and then her friend has to go with her. Stacey White. And then is the smaller ball pink? You can understand. That upsets me quite a bit. I hate that.
Well, yeah. the less players are supposed, like 16 on the field is just, I think it's a better way. It's supposedly a better spectacle, but that's, I don't know. Apparently the players themselves tick this off. So I was at first, I'm like, this is stupid. And then I read that, I'm like, well, I guess they've probably got more right to a say than I do.
That's
so I'll
fair.
just slink back down in my chair.
Yeah, well, yeah, cool. If that's what they said, great. But it's just dumb. She-Hulk.
Fucking She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
But we had a good laugh.
I
Didn't we?
enjoyed that quite a bit. Sorry to
the listeners
derail.
enjoyed She-Hulk. That's just...
Sorry to derail. Please,
That's right.
do go on.
Oh, sure. Thank you. That's my first actual official do go on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. What is? He also rescues Lois Lane, who's his longtime love interest for the last 80 years. So.
Oh, in the first
issue, yeah, Lois
Wow.
Lane, yeah.
But she wasn't the electric chair.
No, different
No.
woman. He's just saving women
Do you
left
reckon,
and right.
do you reckon Lois would be pretty jealous that
That was often that's been a foil for many years. Lois Lane, Lana Lang.
So Lois couldn't get over the fact that he saved someone from the electric chair.
That's right. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, she was innocent, Lois. The evidence is there. Just look.
Let him fry.
Steady on, Miss Lane.
That
God.
was, yeah.
Was that her?
That
God,
was my Lois.
She sounds jaded.
So at this point, he was basically he was superhumanly strong and he could leap over tall buildings. So hence the more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Okay, can I ask the famous phrase? What's that? A bird? Is it a plane? Is that an old thing or is that a movie?
No, that's from the radio show.
All right, did that come along?
That was like 1943.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Yeah.
like Matt's era version of the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Were
Matt.
you on that? Did you do some bloody?
Matt,
Yeah, I was there.
some sound design
I
on
did,
that?
yeah, some of the crinkling of paper.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
nice.
I can't remember what that was for, but that
Probably
was
fire.
one of the yeah,
Probably
fire.
heat vision. He didn't have heat vision at this point. He didn't have X-ray vision. He didn't have super breath. He didn't have
Super breath.
yes.
Well,
Well, like ice
Always
breath.
minty.
How do you-
Oh, yeah,
Always
okay.
minty.
How do you go to like university or something to get that?
You don't think so?
Can I get that?
It's more a case of a lot of the we were talking about. A lot of you were saying a lot of superheroes were probably developed around a room, just people going, what about this? What about this? I think a lot of this stuff was like, well, why not? Just throw it in. Just give him.
Why not?
How can he get through that? I can just use his X-ray vision. He can see through it. Why not?
Yeah,
Kinda-
his pinky's
Yeah.
a key to every car in the world.
Yeah. So
do it.
I guess the original incarnation of Superman, the idea was he'd come from the planet Krypton, where everything was a much more harsh environment. So the sun beat down harder, and the gravity was much more intense, and the air.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She-Hulk didn't
Guys, I'm
exist.
trying to give you facts, all right, guys.
It just
Come
popped
on.
into my head again.
If you need to leave the room, would you like some pictures of She-Hulk?
That'll
Okay.
make it worse.
But like the atmosphere was kind of like pea soup, kind of. You couldn't see through it, so as a result, he was stronger and he could leap and he could see through.
So, if everyone from Krypton survived, they get just killed, right? The planet blows up?
Yes, the planet was unstable. It had an unstable core, and so Superman's father Jor-El.
Nicolas
all right,
Cage.
steady on, mate.
Nicolas Cage's second job.
That's right. He
Jor-El!
come back here. Get in your room. Your planet's about to be destroyed. God.
Get out of my Datsun in the lounge room.
He was like, the planet's going to be destroyed. I'm going to put my son in this ship and send him off to Earth. And nobody else believed him, and then the planet was destroyed. So all the other Kryptonians were
Right.
We're done,
Why
baby.
didn't Jor-El get in the plane?
It wasn't enough resources to build another spaceship.
Oh, okay, that's good. I thought there was going to be no answer for that, so I feel like a bit of an idiot.
I didn't realize all that stuff about the harsh environment and stuff. That's a really sweet way of explaining it.
Well, that's old school. Superman's been rebooted a number of times, and the explanation has changed. So over.
But from that original one, if the planet hadn't survived, would everyone be as good as Superman?
Yes,
If they
would
came
have.
to our planet.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Oh.
Is that what happens with people like Supergirl and stuff? They're like,
Yes,
oh,
we'll
we
see.
found
After a while, they go, okay, well, what if there was another Superman? And so they're like, well, it was a lady. Let's make Supergirl. So it turns out that Supergirl's father had also put her in a rocket. It turns out there was enough resources for one more rocket, so they put her in the rocket. And she was actually older than she was sort of a teen girl at the time, and she was sent to Earth, but it went it flew off course. By the time she ended up on Earth, Superman had grown up to Superman, and she was still a girl. So,
Oh, that means that they
Okay,
can't.
so that's why she's girl and not Superwoman.
Yes.
Because that.
but do
but
you
there
not?
is a Superwoman, so don't worry about that.
Good.
There's already a
But
Superwoman.
she's a Supergirl because she's still a teenager.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So nothing can happen between Superman and Supergirl.
No, they're cousins.
Ew.
So
Dave.
what's the problem?
Oh, Dave, no. Let me, Dave. You already know about the purity. You don't.
Yeah, you know about
interbreeding.
purity.
You know all
Yeah.
about that, mate. So don't.
But she and him are the only two compatible people that aren't going to kill the other one.
So, what? Therefore, it's okay to fuck your cousin? God, you're sick, Warnicky.
Sicko.
Yuck.
Gross,
Then-
man.
I mean, then what happens, Dave? What's the next generation?
Yeah, what then? What then, Dave?
They've got super tumors and super super
Yeah.
extra thumbs. I don't want any of that.
You don't want an extra thumb.
I kind of want an extra
Yeah.
thumb now that I think about
Come
it.
on.
Yeah.
Think
3
about
thumbs up.
it. 3 thumbs up. Yeah, having a great time. Do go on.
Okay, so eventually, over the many years, I guess the number one conceit of that Superman had that none of the other heroes had. Like if you think of the Phantom, you think of Buck Rogers, those kind of guys. They were always that guy. They were always. It was always. The most. The greatest difference was the Phantom would occasionally put on a trench coat, and he'd be the Phantom wearing a trench coat. But
Would he say that? Hello, I am the Phantom
in a
wearing a
trench
trench
coat.
coat.
But Superman's creators, they invented the conceit of sort of the super secret identity. So Superman was, he was this paragon of virtue when he was Superman, but when he wasn't, he was just Clark Kent, who was this bumbling reporter. And like that, so that sort of, I guess, struck a chord with, kids especially, because he loved Lois Lane, but she loved Superman. Like she had no interest in this bumbling idiot
Right,
Clark
I didn't know
Kent.
that.
And it kind of, I guess for kids and teens especially, it was sort of like this, I have so much more to offer. If
Once
only-
you know the
if only
real me.
Yeah, once you know the real me, exactly. That kind of thing, yeah.
Why do nice guys always... I'm such a nice guy. Why don't the girls look at me?
Was that you as a teenager, Maddie?
No, that was me doing Dave
That
as a
was you
teenager.
last week. Oh, got it.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's it.
Did
yeah.
you get that? Matt was trying to pin one on me, and Jess slammed one on him.
Oh, classic Perkins.
I was being
Warnicky,
too
how are you?
real, and Jess felt sorry for Dave, i.e.
Jess don't feel sorry for Dave. She just wants to make you feel bad.
So yeah,
accept
so
that.
over the years, Superman developed all these various powers, the heat vision and the flight and the millions of other powers, and yeah, it was just kind of boardroom kind of thing. The only for a long time, his only weakness in the universe was kryptonite, and we were speaking about the radio show in the kryptonite was invented basically because. Radio shows you couldn't draw them, obviously, because they're performed by real people.
What?
No, that's true. It's true, Jess.
I just don't think
Guys, I'm not a bloody report veteran like you guys. All right.
I just don't think the listeners could even imagine what a radio show would be like.
No.
No,
Just voices in your ears.
seems
Ugh.
dumb.
It's weird.
So basically, the guy who played the voice of Superman on the radio show, this was in the 40s, Bud Collyer. Basically,
Did you know him, Matt?
Yeah, it was my...
Best man.
son?
Oh, yeah, I was trying
Grandson.
to... Wait, is it... Yeah, younger than me is funnier, right?
Yeah, it's funnier.
Yeah, he's my great-great-grandson. I still almost fucked it. But yeah, he's like way younger than me. I hope he's doing well, that young buck.
So basically, Bud Collyer, who was the voice of Superman, was like, I kind of want to take a vacation from this. I just don't want to. I want a few weeks off for whatever people did in the 40s. And so they were like, okay, well, we need to weaken him and we need to trap him. And so basically, they invented kryptonite. They put him in a kryptonite cage that weakened him, and they just had a stand-in just groan in pain for several episodes.
Oh my
So
god!
it was like Perry White, who was the head of the Daily Planet, going, "Where's Superman? We've got to find Superman to stop this." And Lois Lane's, "Oh my god, I love Superman. Where is he?" And then just cut to Superman going, "Oh, I'm in such pain."
That's
Oh.
amazing.
So funny.
So that's how most of these things were invented. That's
Guys, pre-record you nerds.
oh,
Then
What-
go on holiday.
What's the idea? So what is Krypton? Krypton?
Oh, kryptonite is so
Kryptonite.
that's right. So Krypton had an unstable core, and so Superman escapes, Supergirl escapes, Krypto the Superdog escapes.
Crypto
one.
the... Sorry, who? Crypto the
Crypto
super...
the Superdog.
What
That's
breed?
a joke.
He's
one.
he doesn't have a specific breed. He's white. He looks it's like a Labrador. It's kind of like a white Labrador.
So he's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, he's a mix, yeah.
The mutt.
He's a mutt.
He's
Super Bitzer.
Various other... Whoever needed to escape to be added in the series later escaped.
Yep.
And then Krypton exploded, and the remnants of Krypton became these glowing green rocks called kryptonite, which are lethal to Kryptonians.
Right. And
Why
is
are
that
they
for
lethal
yeah.
if it's their planet?
Okay, well...
Who's to say?
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
no...
Look, you've had a lot of good
What-
answers
what-
so far, Nick.
What, Dave? There's nothing on Earth that could kill us?
That's a good question.
I can't-
Even
I can't-
regular rocks.
I can't think... I can't...
Yeah, people have been killed by regular
Thrown
rocks. What do you
hard
reckon
enough.
about that?
Name one thing that could kill me.
Asbestos.
Hasn't yet.
Asbestos man.
Asbestos man.
Is that a thing?
Rat
No.
sack lady.
Oh.
Oh, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk with a bag
Lady
of rats.
Asbestos. Ms. Bestos.
Oh, we like that.
She-Hulk. That's silly.
Anyway, Action Comics #1. So people, they made about 200,000. They printed about 200,000 copies of Action Comics #1. But I mean, comic books. Comic books up until maybe the 90s, nobody cared about comic books. They were like the newspaper. You'd read it, you'd show it to your friends, you'd pass them around, you'd stick them in your back pocket or whatever. And so of the 200,000 copies left, there's maybe 100 left now.
Oh, wow.
So it's
What?
100.
one, maybe probably less now.
Wow.
And who were the people keeping them? Were they like just
Oh, he's got a
accidentally?
list of all 100 of
No,
them.
well, I just mean were they
fucker.
people who were like going, I love this so much, I want to keep it, or were they just people who, for some reason, just found it later in their?
Well, we'll get to it in a little bit, but a lot of them had just survived by chance. Like it's
Right.
just
Wow.
where they happen to be, an abandoned building or what have you, and
Amazing.
they've survived sandwiched between something else,
That's
and they've
cool.
just happened to survive. Yeah,
Fuck, check your sandwiches, people.
yeah.
Sandwiches.
He looks so proud, but also hates himself.
So anyway, Nicolas Cage's copy of Action Comics #1.
Yes, I'm very...
So he had one. He had one of the best. So it was a near mint. So when he bought it, they didn't have. There wasn't a real grading system, but they were like, oh, this is near mint. It looks pretty great. Later, they developed a grading system from 1 through 10.
Is 10 being...
10 is the best.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and... No, that's good.
Dave, that's the
Oh.
most surprising thing today. The higher the number, the better the condition.
Well, do I need to tell you that whoever comes number 1 at the Olympics gets the gold?
Oh.
Thank you.
But what if they found a better copy? What if #1 was the best and they found an even better copy? What would you do then?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
2 gold medals.
Oh, great. Yeah, okay. This is a 3 gold medal rated. It's got its gold and a silver copy of Superman.
407 gold medal rating. No, so do they later say what Nicolas Cage's version would be from
Yeah,
1
we'll,
to...
we'll get to it very,
Sorry,
very
sorry.
shortly.
Stop skipping ahead.
I
man.
know, Dave.
please.
I can't wait. I just love this. I love it so much.
So it's near mint. So the first time it ever appeared, unnamed buyer, unnamed seller, it was sold at Sotheby's, which is the big auction house in England, for $86,000. That's in 1993.
Sotheby's.
Sotheby's.
That's fun.
Then it was bought by a man named Stephen Fischler. He owns a big collectible store in New York called Manhattan Collectibles. He bought it for $135,000 in 1996.
Oh.
And then in just sort of 1996, 1997, Nicolas Cage was signed on to do a Superman movie. It was called Superman Lives. It it never came about.
Oh,
but he
no.
was fitted for the costume. There
I've
were some
seen a
photos
video
out
of
there.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
would I have seen a video or
Yeah,
photos?
No, you would have seen video and
Video,
photos.
yeah.
And was he...
They look great.
No, he would have been so excited.
Was he
right.
absolutely stoked?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
his,
he like-
his dream. Yeah.
I'll do it for free.
Right. Well, yeah. So yeah, and he there's footage. There's Kevin Smith, the film director. He was brought on to write a draft of that script, and the producer John Peters, who also produced the 1989's Batman movie, he gave Kevin Smith 3 notes. I don't want to see him in the suit. That's Nicolas Cage, Superman. I don't want to see him in the suit.
For the whole movie.
Yeah. I don't want to see him fly.
What?
And he has to fight a giant spider in the 3rd act. Those were the 3.
Those are 3 really dumb notes.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
And I'm no film buff. I did a bit of film studies at
yes.
university.
What?
But that sounds like a really dumb idea.
And I know my arachnids.
Hey, what would Sydney Scheinberg think of that, do you reckon?
Spider, how about a ladybug? Kids love ladies. I think that's what he'd say.
Hey, remember She-Hulk?
Get She-Hulk in the fourth act.
I can't be back for She-Hulk in a couple of weeks, guys. So
She-Hulk
man.
Origins.
I'll die.
yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the kind of so this was going to be a Tim Burton film, and I think
So,
interest-
Wow.
Tim Burton was going to direct it.
yeah, this was after Batman. They're like, you're the guy, you're the
Oh my
you're the-
God.
And the
Wow.
guy that produced Batman, which was good and
John
well
Peters,
received.
former hairdresser,
Why-
who became a movie producer.
That's
Yeah, but I think there was a lot. There were a lot of drafts. There were a lot of meddling. People couldn't settle on a script for a really long time, and then people dropped. Tim Burton dropped out because he didn't want to be a comic book movie guy anymore, and it all just sort of fell to pieces.
But in their defense, I'm sure you must have seen much more comic book movies than most of us. Have you seen ones that are worse than a giant spider? Surely there's worse.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Hmm.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but maybe it could have been great.
The Fabulous Four, for instance, or is it
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah,
Fabulous.
I wish there were a giant spider in that.
Fabulous.
John Peters later went on to produce the Will Smith film Wild Wild West.
Oh, wow.
And in the
there was a giant spider
in the
in it.
finale, there's a giant robot spider. So apparently that's his thing.
Oh,
my
that
God.
is
Maybe it's
so
his signature
funny.
move.
He's got a weird fetish.
Yeah,
And that movie sucked.
yeah, it wasn't great.
But it made a lot of money.
Yeah. So
Wow, worse.
So to prepare for this role, Cage went to Stephen Fischler, who's this collectibles owner, who had Action Comics #1, and he bought 400 vintage comics, and one of them was Action Comics #1, which he bought for $150,000.
He bought 400 comics.
400 comics.
Were they all Superman?
No, they were all just an assortment. I think he wanted to get into the.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think he. I think
400.
you know what I think it was because he's always been, like I said, this obsessive collector. He's always been into this sort of stuff. I think it might have been a case of, well, if I buy 400 at a time and I say it's a research thing, I can write it off.
And then you've
What about-
automatically got a collection too. It's not like
Yeah,
beginning
exactly.
a collection
Yeah.
where you've just got a 3 and you're
Yeah.
like, no, it's a collection.
That's right.
You start with 400. You're a collector.
Exactly. What can I ask? You know how he's obviously into Superman so much that he names his kid the real name.
Yep.
In this time, was he into Superman, or did buying this comic make him even more obsessed, do you reckon?
Oh, that's.
Or was he already an obsessive Superman?
I feel Nicolas Cage is always at level 10 obsessed with everything. at
From
all
1 to
times.
10?
So, yeah.
Sotheby's was giving him a 10?
I don't think he could go over or under that at any point.
Wow.
So anyway, Superman. Origin of Superman. So Superman was created by the writer Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who are these. They've been kids. They grew up. They were friends together in Toronto, in Canada. And so Joe Shuster, he grew up on like comic strips. His father would show him, put him up on his knee and show him all the comic strips. Some of his favourites, I took note of this because I thought they were fun. His favourite comic strips are the Cats and Jammer Kids, Boob McNutt, as a character from the 30s.
Do you know anything about the
No.
plot of Boob?
No, and
I think
it's,
the less we know, the better.
and it's difficult to Google that. Speaking of another one, Happy Hooligan and Barney Google was a
Barney Google.
was a-
Not as good as Boob and McNutt, but
no.
Barney Google's
So anyway,
catchy.
so Schuster was this sort of tiny little teenager who wanted to be a tough guy, and he was
Dave.
kind of like
Yeah.
he was the kind of after school workout and eat raw eggs kind of. He was that kind of kid.
I really like this guy.
And he illustrated a comic strip for his high school newspaper.
Dave.
Is this my life?
So he met these two met in 1931, and they worked together on this little fanzine school newspaper kind of thing, which they sold for 15 cents.
Oh.
So
per-
more
a
than
copy.
Superman?
Yeah, for more than yeah. And yeah, so in 1933 they created a character called they created a story called The Reign of the Superman, where this Superman was this bald villain with mental powers. Didn't really go anywhere, so that's fun. But
But I can think about plenty of bald people with superpowers to come.
yeah, I know, right?
Why do they have to be bald to get the thoughts out of their head? It's like hairs trapping them in.
Yeah.
Imagine Professor Xavier from X-Men with an afro. He's like, or they just glue an afro wig to his head and he just can't do his telekinesis.
So Jerry Siegel said in an interview in the 80s, he said, as a high school student, I thought Someday I might become a reporter, and I had a crush on several attractive girls who either didn't know I existed or didn't care I existed.
Dave.
As a matter of fact, some of them looked like they hoped I didn't exist. It occurred to me, what if I was real terrific? What if I had something special going for me, like jumping over buildings or throwing cars around? Then maybe they'd notice. That was their...
Girls
Yeah.
of the 30s were very different.
I know, right? If you can't throw a car, if you can't throw a
Zero
Chevrolet,
respect.
they got no interest. But so that's the story he gave. Many years later, so just before he passed away, he actually told the story that his father was a tailor. His name's Mitchell Siegel, and in 1932, 3 men went into his father's tailor shop and robbed the tailor shop, and his father died of a heart attack while that was happening.
Oh no!
And then, very soon afterwards, he suddenly created this character who is, super strong and invulnerable and can leap over tall buildings.
Oh.
And he went 50 years. He didn't tell anybody that story, which is
Oh man.
Wow.
fun fact, right?
Well,
Super fun fact.
that's amazing.
So anyway, so they shopped Superman around for years and years and years. So 33, so 5-ish years. And in 1938, they went to DC Comics, and they pitched Superman to them, and the company paid them for this 13-page story in Action Comics #1 $130, and they split it half down the middle.
What?
Yeah, that's right, $65 each.
What?
Pretty good. And with the check, they got a check. The agreement was that they got Detective Comics got the exclusive right to the character of Superman to have and hold forever. Yeah.
No.
A few months later, they were hired to become staff writers at DC. They again signed a deal naming Detective Comics the exclusive owner of their work, including Superman.
What?
This has been described as the original sin of comic books, because that's kind of set the precedent. You create a character, no matter what happens to that character, if they put it on Lunchbox, they make it into movies, they what have you. You got what you paid. You paid for that day, and that was it. So here's a little fun fact. So here's another one of these fun facts you love, Jess Perkins.
Okay.
So Stephen Fischler, Manhattan Collectibles, our friend who sold Nicolas Cage all this stuff, he actually acquired a bank representative sold him the check or he somehow acquired the check, the $130 check that they got. That was sold to a collector for $160,000. So
even the paper it's written on is
Right.
worth 1,000 times the amount.
right, exactly,
Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah.
But She-Hulk though.
Yeah, right. That's fun. That's fun.
That's still paying the big bucks.
Yeah, right.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, Superman again, as we know, Superman since became this, profoundly iconic character. Movies, TV shows, cartoons, lunchboxes.
He's done a bit.
Yeah, he's done a bit, right?
He's done the 4 major mediums.
Yeah.
TV, movies, radio, lunchboxes.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's a big 4.
The big 4.
God, the day that there's a Dugo on Lunchbox, be a happy day.
Imagine. Well, if you contribute $1,000 a month to the Patreon, we will mail you an exclusive Dugo One lunchbox. Only $1,000 a month.
We'll wait here.
Yeah.
You get your checkbooks.
Yep, we'll print 1,000 in advance. Imagine that. We get $1 million a month.
That's too many dollars. That would make me anxious.
Wow.
Too much money.
Where are we?
Riches make you nervous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So we were talking about Matt. You were saying where did these Action Comics #1, all the vintage comics, where did they end up? So back to Manhattan Collectibles. He once our friend Stephen Fischler once auctioned a low grade copy of Action Comics #1. So this is a 1.5
Out of 10.
out of 10. Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah. So this.
Put it in the bin.
So
Look, I don't want to have to explain.
why even bother?
Explain scaling to our listeners, but 1.5, that is only 1.5 of the way to 10.
Yeah, that's right.
15%.
15%. Yeah.
Which is half of 30. And even that wouldn't be that good. You got a 30%, you put it in the bin.
So basically, a man named David Gonzalez, he was a contractor. He was renovating a home that was built in 1938, and he smashed through a wall, and he found, being used as insulation, a whole bunch of newspapers, and he shuffled through them, and there was Action Comics #1 just stuffed into the wall.
Did he realise what he had straight away?
Yes, he did. Well, but here's the thing. Wow. Okay, here's the thing, though.
Imagine the moment.
So basically,
Yeah.
he went home, and he was like, "Check this out! Look what I've got!" And his wife's aunt was there, big family home, and she was like, "This isn't worth anything. This is kind of rubbish." And they
No,
tussled
no.
over it, and
Tussle.
and he accidentally ripped the back cover off.
Why would you be like so adamant that you were like, no, I'm gonna take it off you and put it in the bin? That's how worthless.
So tearing the back cover took it down, I guess, to a 1.5, and that took $75,000 off the market value.
Oh, that
but,
bitch.
But it still sold for $175,000.
That absolute bitch.
And did David Gonzalez get it, or the person who owns the house that he was renovating?
Doesn't say.
Oh no, fuck that. He gets it.
Yeah, look,
Do you
yeah,
reckon?
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
big
that
time.
way.
Fuck
Yeah.
them. No.
Could
Yes.
have been a condemned home.
Finders, keepers,
Yeah.
losers,
Losers
fuck
would.
off.
Well, I know that.
That went
Oh,
ruder
hang
than I
on,
thought it was
yeah.
going to go.
Because in a way, this is kind
That's the
of.
Perkins way.
I guess this is a form of archaeology, and in a way, often people they make a deal. Like if I find something on your property,
Yeah,
we'll split the profits.
Well, I mean, I don't think you make that kind of deal when you hire a tradie to come in and renovate. Because
From now on, if anyone ever comes into my house, they must sign a clause that if they find some sort of valuable hidden in the wall,
I think it should.
you
be
don't
the,
own the house.
I think it should be the
Yeah,
the
I don't-
homeowner should get it. I reckon.
No.
You'd
They might have been dead.
Maybe they should.
Oh, look.
There's a fun fact.
No, look. I reckon they were dead, and I think it's fine. But if they were alive,
Maybe they should have got off their bums and been renovating the house themselves. Then
Do it
Hey?
yourself.
nah, you're Jess. You're being. I reckon you're being unreasonable.
I don't think I am at all. I say, as I mentioned before, finders keepers, losers. Everybody.
I've got Jess's phone now.
Oh fuck.
can you keep that?
Yeah,
Ah, but
only Jess's.
you didn't find it. It was sitting on the table
Just
in front
found it
of
over
me.
here.
It's not finding
Found
it.
on the table.
Found it.
I was sitting in front of it. It's mine.
Yeah, it was in the wall
What
of
is-
their house.
What bloody hell is this?
That's
Oh,
it's
they-
my phone.
They often turn on each other.
I know, right?
It's fine.
You don't know
I'm
the
just glad they're not turning
passcode.
on me. That's good.
Look, I can figure out a passcode.
Can you?
One day they'll develop a certain amount of familiarity with me, and that will breed contempt, and then I'll be pounced upon.
That's right. But for now, you are a guest in our home.
Oh, so
and if
good.
whatever you find in our walls, you keep.
Thank you.
Dave,
you
no.
guys. I found some soundproof. Can I keep the soundproof tiles?
Oh, definitely.
Sure, go for it.
Okay,
Yours,
so in
mate.
2008, we had another Action Comics number one. That was a 6 out of 10. So that was $317,200. That's what they got for it. In 2010, we had one that was an 8, and that was
Whoa.
$1 million. That got that $1 million flat.
$1 million?
And then later on in 2010, there was an Action Comics number one that was an 8.5, and that got $1.5 million. Nicolas Cage's copy is a 9. So
What?
So
yeah.
9.
Yeah.
A 9. And does a 10 exist, or do we not know?
We'll get to that. Yeah.
Starting to sound like an inside job.
But I mean,
to
short
me.
answer is yes.
Okay.
There's a 10. The 10 exists.
Bit of sizzle.
Well, actually, it's like a 9,495. So
So pretty good.
Because
So
it's
round
almost
up.
like it's not possible to be a 10 because a 10 would be straight off the press in the
Yeah, right,
olden
exactly,
days, back
yeah.
when I was
Nobody
a
had
boy.
touched it. Yeah,
and
back
they're
when Matt was a boy.
they're so stringent. Like if you turn a page and you've got a little bit of grease on your hand and you turn that, then it's not a 10 anymore. Yeah.
Something built into my personality means I don't want a 1.5. Someone's offering me, it's like, I don't want your shitty ripped pages
Yep.
in my house. I don't want to be anywhere near it.
What's the lowest you'd settle for?
Well,
Good question.
I'd have to look at what they actually mean, but I'm guessing probably an 8.5.
Really?
Wow. So the
Okay.
1.5 million.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd
that's my when I'm starting to think about making a bid.
I'd take a
Yep.
2 or 3, I reckon.
But that,
It's loved. It's got a story. It's
That's
got
right,
history.
yeah.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I
Would you need-
I want
would
it
you need the owner
intact.
to tell you the story.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
What happens if it says inside the front page, like what number would it be if it's like it's very good apart from inside the front it says property of little David Warnocky.
Oh, and it's very good, like as new.
Yeah, as new. So it's just inside
I
cover.
wonder. Good one,
Yeah,
Dave.
That's probably an 8, I reckon.
Okay.
I just cost myself a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Do your parents write inside books? Like their name and stuff?
I think they used to, maybe when we were kids.
Yeah.
My granddad had because he had a collection of over 5,000 books.
Whoa.
He had a huge
Wow.
library, and some of them on the inside he had either a stamp made up, said property of James Ferguson, or he had stickers made up so they'd go on the inside.
That's great.
But yeah, you say great, but they've just gone from a 10 to an 8.5
That's right.
apparently.
And if you want to peel that sticker off, you might cause even more damage.
Yeah.
Then it's a 7.
Then you're down to a 6, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Matt doesn't even want it anymore.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll put it in the
But
bin.
Jess will take it.
Would you guys like to know how the thieves stole the Action Comics number 1?
Nah.
Yes, so I would.
All right, good night, everybody.
I love.
please.
I love a good thieving story.
Okay, well, this
Yeah.
is a pretty good one. So basically, he had his comic book room, and it was sort of all these sort of locked locked chests full of comic
Well,
books.
I'm
he's
starting
a
to
nerd.
feel a lot less sorry for the guy that can afford a comic book
Book
room.
So sort of these armored, like steel comic book chests.
The
all locked
room
up.
was also guarded by a puma.
And he wanted to, he couldn't put them all on his wall, so he had these bulletproof glass cases
Oh,
around
get fucked.
his room.
How about give some money to charity? Jesus.
There's comic books
Feels
to
like
look
such a
at.
waste.
Mate, just let me ask you this: do you think he's a bad person?
No, he's a colourful character.
Bad
Colourfully terrible.
In a way, that's what I meant. You didn't let me finish. So basically, he liked to rearrange it. Like he had them all in the chests, and so he liked to rearrange. He liked to put the new ones up, or the his latest acquisitions, or whatever his favourite one he was thinking about at the time. So basically, he had one. There was one key to unlock. You could unlock all the bulletproof glass cases, and he would swap them in and out. And so what the thieves did.
Bulletproof. Who's going to shoot comic books?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot this one out. Oh no, I've just made it a 0.5. It's covered in bullets.
I just smashed the glass, you idiot. Why are you going to shoot? That's very silly.
I mean, I think
I mean, it's impervious to bullets as well as anything less than
Less
a
than
bullet.
bullets, yeah.
No, I understand that. But I mean, like,
Well, I can't get through with a bullet, but this screwdriver should do the trick.
but I just mean like when you're designing that room and you're talking with your architect and you're like, okay, and I'd like them behind glass cabinets. Oh shit, better make it bulletproof. Like fuck you.
Well, I think when you're a Hollywood celebrity, you don't want anything less than bulletproof.
Oh.
If you're
Do I
buying a
need
car,
to-
you want a bulletproof windows.
That's a
You
good
don't
point,
want-
yeah.
Do I need to remind you that despite the fact that they were bulletproof, it was still stolen somehow?
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. Okay, so he would like to swap them out, and so
He
what
had one- did he wear the key around his neck?
Well, here's the thing.
In a bulletproof container.
That's right, which contained its own lock. So basically, what happened is the thieves somehow managed to get into his house, and they made it past the Puma, and they went into they made it
good.
past the Jaguar, the D-Type Jag, and they made it
Wow, a
past.
puma and a jaguar.
That's right, yeah. And they made it past the scary dinosaur skulls, and they got into the comic book room, and then they got the key, which was placed right in front of all the cabinets,
Oh, you
and they
idiot.
unlocked
Are you
all the
fucking kidding?
cabinets.
So
and
the one
then-
key was just sitting there.
just sitting there.
Well, where else
I
would he?
hate him.
Otherwise, he'd leave it.
in a lot of ways that makes the key almost pointless.
In a way,
and
doesn't
the
it?
glass, yeah.
And the glass.
Yeah. So they took the Action Comics #1 out, and they took off with
Did
it.
they take any others or just that
Yes,
one?
they did. They took 4. Well, they took.
They took all 400.
Cage initially thought they took 4, but it turned out that one of them was just lost in his house.
Ah,
And then he called a year later. He was like, 24 more have been stolen, but it turned out again just in his house.
What, where on the toilet?
I guess so. Yeah.
Behind
Takes
Yeah.
them to read and then
so
just
they
leaves them
knew
about.
what was going on. They knew he had him, and they went and picked
Well,
out
here's the
3
thing.
important
and
ones.
this home apparently was, he had a lot of Hollywood parties. His birthday's in January, so potentially he had 1,000 people over for his birthday, and people just wandered in and yoink.
I don't know 1,000 people. No, scratch that. I don't like 1,000 people. I
I don't think Nicolas Cage does either.
don't think I like 100 people. Nah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, so Hrychek, who was the investigator, apparently he said that was fairly common, sort of in Hollywood. If something really expensive had been stolen, somebody had just left it unlocked, or they hadn't turned. They had $1 million alarm system, they just didn't switch it on.
Have you ever seen the movie The Bling Ring, directed by Nicolas Cage's cousin, Sophia Coppola?
No, but does it star Hermione Granger?
Yes, it does. Emma Watson is in it.
Hermione Granger.
Pardon me, yes. Hermione Granger. Yes.
I've seen the trailer for it.
Then honestly, it's about Paris Hilton being robbed several times because she just left the front door unlocked. They just waltz into her house and steal like $1 million of jewels, and they're teenagers.
That's how it goes.
And it's based on a true story, I will say that.
Oh my god.
Well, there's one story here that he related that a musician in the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra went home with a Stradivarius cello, a $3.5 million Stradivarius cello. He had his hands full. He was like, okay, I'll just put this here and this here in my bag here on top of my car. And then he just shuffled around. He's like, okay, grab my keys, got everything. And he opened his door and he went to bed. And then he woke up the next day like, oh, where's the cello? He left it on the roof of his car and somebody had just taken it. So,
And he lost the Stradivarius.
Yeah.
Did he get it back?
not the purpose of this report, Dave. I don't know.
I wonder if he had insurance.
I like
Yeah.
how you think the answers for everything are there.
Dave, I don't know anything if it's not about Spider-Man or something.
Warren.
Or She-Hulk.
So how did you come across that story then?
Oh, this was just Hrychek, who's the man who investigated all the.
Oh, so
all the art theft.
sorry, pardon me, art theft guy.
Yeah, he. Anyway, a few days later, a few days after the theft, our friend Fischler got a call from another comic book store owner. Someone called and asked about the 3 comics that were stolen. Like, well, how much would I get for these particular items? You know,
just like the Mona Lisa, the guy that took it.
Where would I sell them? What would I do? Sort of thing. Call left, no contact details. Never called back.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if I had Nicolas Cage's Jaguar.
What do you feed a panther?
He's like, I deal in antiques.
Yeah. So in 2002, the word got around in the comic book dealing industry that there was somebody in Memphis was selling some of these issues, and maybe it was Nick Cage's stolen in issues, but they got a local police, they got a search warrant. They turned out it was fakes. It was a man who had gotten scans of the covers, like copies of the covers, and he'd put lingerie catalogs in between, and he'd stuck them together and he'd put them in a sealed, like a plastic bag, and be like, "These are too valuable to take out of this, but you have to trust me. This is the real."
Did you think that anyone would trust him?
He put a little sticker on the front of it that said "Property of Nicolas Cage."
And also, bearing in mind, these are people who will leave their Stradivarius on the roof of their car, so they'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, that does sound safe. Don't take it out." I mean, there were a lot of various sightings. Nothing ever really sort of turned up, and the sort of trail went cold for quite some time.
Right, and I imagine, are these insured?
Yes, they were insured.
So he's getting paid back anyway.
I guess so, but the investigation has to they have to drop the investigation, I think, first before they can.
And are we thinking it might be a Nicolas Cage inside job? Because I have seen like sort of BuzzFeed style articles before. How did Nicolas Cage spend $200 million?
Right, exactly.
Like he went. Did he go bankrupt? Is that a thing?
He owes the IRS like $16 million or something like that in back taxes. He has a number of castles.
Come on.
You can't have a portfolio of castles. You get one and then you're done.
Surely.
One and done.
One and done, yeah.
That's what they say in the castle biz.
Are you in the castle biz, Dave?
I am prospecting to get into the castle biz.
What?
What are you looking for? Just like a 13-bedroom?
Oh, no.
Anyway, does anybody want to hear about
20 plus?
Anybody want to hear about the continuing adventures of Siegel and Shuster, the luckiest two boys in the comic book industry?
Yes, the people that didn't get paid for their.
That's correct. Okay, so they were doing pretty good from like 38 to 47. They were doing pretty good because they were on staff writing. Apparently, they would split 70 in 1940. They split $75,000 in gross salary, so that's before taxes, which is quite good at the time. Siegel said actually it was less than that. But who knows? In 1943, Siegel he was drafted into the army. While he was away, DC published Superboy, which was the adventures of Superman when he was a boy, as you might imagine, which was Siegel's idea that he had pitched to DC twice. They'd rejected it twice. And then when they published it, they didn't ask him about it. They were just like, yeah, all right, you did it on our time, and it's Superman and Superboy.
What dogs?
Yeah, I know, right? Dogs. So in 1947, Siegel and Shuster filed a lawsuit. They wanted to annul all the agreements because they were like, well, look, we didn't know it was going to be so successful. We didn't know it was going to be selling, 800,000 copies an issue, a million copies an issue.
That doesn't sound like a legal footing to me. Hey, I didn't know that this would be worth more, and now it is.
Have you done a law degree, Dave? Then I don't think you can pipe in, champ.
I've done multiple.
Have you?
Law degrees.
Have you done multiple law degrees?
Yes. Ask me any questions about the law.
Can I go into a court of law and say, I didn't know?
Oh, good question.
That's relevant too to what we were just talking about.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well
I was going to say objection relevance, but it was very relevant.
Thank
you. Good save.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer will surprise you. Next week. I'm graduating. I'm going to pass the bar next week.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, well, we would like the rights, we would like the rights back. We want our fair share. DC were like, no, we've paid you your fair share. You've worked here. You've got plenty of money. The result was basically they gave DC the rights to Superman, but not Superboy. And so Siegel got the rights to Superboy. And then they renegotiated and they said, okay, look, Siegel and Shuster said, okay, you can have Superman, you can have Superboy, but we want $94,000, which was pretty good in the 40s. Pretty good amount. But
Is that each or together?
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
why 94? You know I like rounded numbers. Just go 100.
100 grand.
94
knows,
shits me
man?
so much.
So, but basically,
So someone said to you, next year, I'll pay you $94,000 a year. You'll laugh them out.
I
Nope.
would say, don't insult me.
Don't insult me.
That's what I'd say. That's what I'd say, Dave.
okay, so I'll do go on, shall I? I'll bloody,
Please-
bloody,
Hey
Please.
Nick, sorry. Please do go on.
Thank you.
We've all given you one now.
I know. I feel good. So yeah, I mean, so they they got their money and they were like, we don't want any more to do with
$94,000.
this. And so, but they, in a way, they were kind of blacklisted from DC especially, but the comic book industry, because they're like, okay, well, if they create something and then
They're going to be dicks
they're
about
going to be
it.
dicks
and want
about it,
their
exactly.
fair
So,
share.
Siegel did some sporadic comic book writing for various competitors, and the work dried up because they were like, because the black, word got around. Shuster did various odd jobs. He was a sales clerk. He was a janitor. In the 90...
That sucks.
The creator of Superman cannot be a janitor.
No, guys. Things are looking up because
Oh.
in the 1950s, there's a man named Jerry Robinson. He was a longtime Batman artist. He co-created Robin and the Joker and a lot of other characters. He was told, okay, you've got to get some new stationery or new equipment or wherever it's going to be delivered today. And it turned out the man delivering it was Joe Shuster because he was a delivery man. He delivered that stuff to the DC offices. And this was a little bit embarrassing. And the CEO summoned him up to the office and gave him $100 and said, go out, buy a new coat, find another job. So that's, pretty brutal, right?
He thought that the coat was the problem.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You can be anything you want as long as you're wearing this coat.
He's a CEO, man. What do you...
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he
Hey,
knows.
Dave,
Yeah.
how many companies have you been the CEO of?
The question is, how many coats do I have?
Yeah, how many coats do you have, Dave?
One nice one. That's all you need.
Have you got a good job yet?
That's pretty good. I'm an ass prod.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Matt just with a...
Let's see. Schuster moved in with his mother, shared an apartment with his brother.
Oh.
At one point, Siegel lived in a one-bedroom apartment with his family.
Oh, my
In the
God.
You
90s...
say things we're looking up.
Yeah, we'll get there.
What's the jacket thing they're looking up?
He was
Yeah,
being
that's
a little
right.
You
bit-
got
Once he
$100
had
for free.
Once he had a spiffy new jacket, things were turned right around. In the 1950s, Schuster made a living by secretly drawing sadomasochistic soft porn for a series of pamphlets called Nights of Horror. So that's a fun little tidbit.
The jacket's paying off.
Yeah,
Your idea of fun is very different.
I
to
like
ours.
to have fun.
He put on a jacket so people at home could jacket.
Good jacket?
Yeah, I like it.
Get it?
I like it.
Oh.
Oh,
It took me a while, but once I got there, I enjoyed that.
thank you. A play on words.
Oh, words. That's, yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh.
You okay over there, Matt? You've been very quiet.
Look, I'm finding 4 people is a lot of people.
A lot of people, right?
It's a sensory overload, isn't it?
I'm really trying to just give some space for you guys to fill.
Sorry. All right, we'll all step back. Matt,
Nick.
would you like to say something?
Yeah.
It's my big bloody chance. I just want to say that I hope Schuster and Singlet make it. Thank you for the time.
Well done.
Well done,
Nick,
mate.
do go on.
Thank you. Let's see. So in the mid to late 70s, it turned out that Warner, who owned DC at the time, were going to make a Superman the movie. Siegel sat at his typewriter and he wrote a little letter. I, Jerry Siegel, the co-originator of Superman, put a curse on the Superman movie. I hope it's super bombs.
Did he write Super Bomb?
Yep, I hope it's super bombs. I hope the whole world will avoid the movie like a plague. The ideals which
God.
made Superman one of the top comics properties of all time and caused its creation, namely compassion and desire to help the oppressed, have been turned into a money-making machine, which callously ruined the lives of Joe and me and deprived us of the fruits of our creation, Superman.
That
so
sucks.
brutal.
Yeah. Well, look. So basically, this caught the attention of Jerry Robinson, aforementioned Batman artist, and Neil Adams, who is also a great writer artist. And they basically launched a national shaming campaign of like, sort of, how dare you? They all Neil Adams was sort of
So shaming who?
DC and Warner
Oh,
Brothers.
saying,
Oh,
look at
okay.
these
Yeah.
guys.
Good, good.
Not
Yeah.
shaming the letter. Right.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's what...
This
These
is
guys have had
shit
it too
letter.
good for too long. Let's shame them.
Yeah.
And so basically they
Wow.
Yeah, so they launched this campaign, and the vice president of Warner's, Jay Emmett, said, "Look, there's no legal obligation, but I sure feel that there's a moral obligation." And so basically, from that point forward, they went, "Okay, we're going to give you an annual salary sort of for the rest of your life, and we'll start it at this amount, and we'll sort of ramp it up, with inflation.
Wow.
You'll never have to work again. We'll pay your wife's, we'll pay pay your wife's pension. We'll pay all this sort of stuff." They paid for all sorts of bits and pieces. They put they said, okay, well you own this, but we'll put created by Siegel and Shuster in on the front of all the comic books.
That's good. That's good.
And when the first movie came out in 1978, Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve, they went to the premiere, and it said, when Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster came on the screen, the entire audience broke into applause and we all cried. So that's yeah.
Did it say created by Joe Siegel, Jerry whatever?
Yep. Jerry Siegel, Joe.
Cursed by Jerry
Yeah,
Shuster.
that's right. Yeah.
And
Did he renounce the curse? Sure, you got to renounce it, right?
Doesn't say he renounced it. Yeah.
He did not renounce because there is a thing called the Superman curse.
There is a Superman curse. You want to hear about the Superman curse? We can divert. I've got a little bit more here, but if you want to talk about the Superman curse,
I know that there is one.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I know a little.
Well, the Superman curse, I guess, is that they're supposedly all related. If you're in an adaptation of Superman, like if you're in a movie thing or a TV thing, something bad will invariably happen to you. So, George Reeves, no relation to Christopher Reeve, he was in the Black and White Adventures of Superman in the 50s. He died of a gunshot wound at age 45, but it was ruled a suicide, but his fingerprints were not on the gun. So
he's pretty clever then, isn't
yeah,
he?
right. Yep.
No,
Just a rope and pulley system.
no, he could have done it with his feet.
Yeah, could have done it with his feet. Exactly.
Yeah, his toe prints were on there.
Yeah. They never mentioned the
toe
toe
prints.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, toe prints. Do
Weird.
you want to compare toe prints after the show?
Yes.
Whoa,
I do
wait.
want to do that.
Get them out.
Oh, how about this? All right, a few Patreon subscribers. If
No.
you subscribe for $5 or more, we'll send by December 15. We've promised to send you a Christmas card. I will personally stamp my toe on every single one of
That's
those.
fucked.
Dave, this
Nobody
podcast
wants
started
that.
out as a dream about boys or some shit, and
That's right.
and great ideas, and now it's just a money-making bullshit scheme. I put a
Wow.
curse. I put a curse on.
I put a curse on your
Wow.
toes.
Oh, don't put a curse on my toes.
Yeah,
Do
no.
curse on.
Do curse
Do it,
on.
Matt.
Are you cursing me, Matt?
No, I'm
The
gonna.
Pharaoh's curse?
You're not putting your toes on people's postcards.
I'm gonna
It's
curse your
weird.
toes, and the curse is that you'll never put them on someone's card. You filthy fucking idiot.
Well, if you have subscribed to our Patreon and you are getting a Christmas card, let me know if you do want the toe, because I will
No
give it
one
to
wants
anyone.
my God,
If
this
anyone
is so
requests it,
complicated.
if anyone requests it,
Okay, well you're figuring out.
We were hearing about a real curse a second
Oh,
ago.
the curse. Oh, yeah.
so this George Reeves suicide, but didn't touch the gun.
Correct.
A real curse, I said,
yeah.
by the way. This is a real curse we're talking about.
Christopher Reeve had a horseback riding accident. He was paralyzed.
And that other guy now hosts Ripley's Believe It or Not. So,
Dean Cain, yeah.
so that's the biggest
Yeah.
slap in the face of all.
a lot of. See, that's the thing. A lot of it is type. A lot of it is. Well, maybe you just looked like Superman.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's all you
you were
look
good
like.
at. So the
Poor Dean Cain.
yeah.
No, he was in Lady Dynamite with Maria
That's true. He
Bamford.
was.
He was in
He
that
was
series,
in
and that's a very good
Scott
series.
Pilgrim.
He was in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, he's great.
So fuck you,
Lee
Warnicky.
Quigley.
I actually really enjoyed Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, this is yeah. Lee Quigley, who played Superman as a baby in the 1978 film, died at age 14 due to solvent abuse. So that's
Solvent.
solvent.
At age 14.
Yeah, yeah,
Jesus, that's
yeah.
young.
That's
and
right.
his fingerprints were not on the solvent.
That's right.
He was.
Oh, that's funny.
He died, Dave.
Yeah, at 14. I know.
But anyway, you can
Dave,
sort
he
of-
was insolvent.
Yeah, very good.
Is that almost a joke?
Yeah.
Nick, is there anything I could have done that to make that a full joke?
Is there any way?
No, that's,
feels like I was-
that's as much as anyone could have done.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Your joke-making ability has been cursed by Superman.
It's like the Pharaoh's curse, but now we've got Superman's curse too.
Yeah. But basically, I mean, you could claim anyone, like Marlon Brando.
Nicolas Cage.
Exactly.
Robbed Superman's curse. So we can say
And that tax bill. Marlon Brando was Jor-El in the movie. He's had a lot of troubles. Richard
Just in general.
But don't worry, I think
General trouble.
I think Marlon Brando's going to come good though.
he'll be fine.
He's on the way back.
He'll be fine. Richard Pryor was in Superman 3.
Also still going strong though.
Yep, troubles. Margot Kidder, who was Lois Lane through all the Superman movies. She went missing for several days.
Turned out she was just at a retreat, but
Yeah,
Forgot
She
to
had
leave
she
a
had, well,
note.
she had she had bipolar disorder, which is
Hilarious.
hilarious.
No,
in a way.
sorry.
But she went, look, it's rubbish. She said, look, she crashed her car at one point, and she crashed into a telephone pole. And if she hadn't crashed into the telephone pole, she would have fallen into a ravine and would have died. So she's like, well, what about the luck of Superman? Like that's
Oh, she said that herself.
yeah,
Silver lining
Yeah,
there.
exactly, yeah.
Good on her. That's a positive attitude.
exactly. Yeah. Where was I? I've forgotten.
Sorry, I'm glad we talked about.
oh,
the
we were
curse
at the
there.
other curse.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he cursed. So anyway,
Oh, yes.
Siegel and Schuster themselves apparently were quite happy with the way everything turned out. They actually moved into adjoining neighborhoods. They were like 2 blocks away for the remainder of their lives. They DC paid them out. The kids were like Jerry Siegel's kids were like called him my Uncle Joe. You know, they were kind of all together. But I mean, years later. The lawsuits began again. The estates of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they've since passed
Oh,
on.
come on.
Yeah, well, they started again. It's interesting for me, solely for me. But in '97, Siegel's wife and daughter were like, "Okay, we're gonna, we've given you these rights. We're gonna contest these rights again." And basically in contesting these rights, they were like, okay, we could contest your ownership of Superman. And Superman we're going to define him as, he wears this, red and blue suit, he's got a cape, he doesn't wear a mask, you can see his face, bullets bounce off him, he can fly, he can shoot heat vision, he's got icy breath, he's always super, even when he's Clark Kent, this kind of thing. And in response, in a weird coincidence, they did this in '97, and in 1998, DC completely redesigned Superman to have none of those characteristics. So they were
that's
like,
a lot of things.
yeah, I'll show you. Oh, hang on, I'll find you a photo of him. But basically, they went, okay, well, he doesn't have a red and blue costume anymore. It's blue and white. We take away the cape. He wears a mask now. He doesn't have heat vision or
When
super
was
breath.
this?
This was like 1998 to like 2002.
What?
Hang on, I'll show
I
you.
have no record
No,
of
this
this.
is real. This seems like I'm making it up. But yeah, they were like, okay, bullets don't bounce off him. They pass through him now. He can walk through walls. When he transforms from Superman to Clark Kent, he's fully human now. So they're basically like, okay, well maybe
Totally new thing.
Yeah,
with
hang on.
that name. So they're like, to them, they're like, oh, the name's what the people like. They don't care about everything.
yeah. See that's Electric Superman.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
So they call him
It's a-
Electric
it's a,
Superman.
well, they didn't. It was just Superman, but colloquially we call him Electric Superman.
Was
I
he a
don't
hit?
like it.
I don't think
There were
so. I
some
feel
fun
like we
stories,
would've
but he was not a
heard
hit.
of
But I
him.
think it was sort of leverage. Never officially, but it's sort of like, well,
We
will give
could.
you we'll give you all the money for Superman who does all these things and wears the cape, but we're not producing that Superman anymore, are we? So I guess you won't be getting anything. It was kind of that, yeah.
But were they? I mean, they had a lot of money for a lot of time, and then only after the actual people who
Yeah,
made them
yeah,
up
yeah.
died, then they
Who
go,
had renounced-
now give me money.
It
Yeah.
sounded like they renounced the claim 3 times in their lives.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, from a business standpoint, you can't just keep being like, all right, here's some
Yeah,
more money for
yeah.
your grandchildren.
It definitely gets a bit muddy. By the Orts, this one was they agreed on a settlement that passed through. There was another settlement. There was another lawsuit in 2005-ish, kind of 2005, 2006, and this one was over the ownership of Superboy again. So we had these 2 different properties, Superman, Superboy, and by this point, Superman and Superboy were 2 different characters. So we had Superman, who was the regular crime-fighting Superman, and we had Superboy, who was a clone of Superman, and they both existed in the same time. And so they sued, and they're like, okay, we would like more money for your use of Superboy, and so they just killed Superboy. They were just like,
Yeah, you want money for this guy?
right? He's
You want
dead. Yeah. They did-
in the courtroom.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
shot
this
a,
guy. This
they
is the one
shot,
they want money for this.
they shot a real life actor.
Yeah, we'll
But they use real bullets.
as long
The
as
bullets pass through this kid? I don't think so.
this kid lives, we'll keep paying you.
Would that be okay in your courtroom, Dave?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
The court of life.
So anyway, bad blood on all sides. But apparently, by all accounts, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, they had
They lived well.
They went out and they had some tough times, but they went out of it
Sounds like
together as friends and with enough money to have a good
they
life. which is
die
good.
unhappy.
Would you like to know what happened to Nick Cage's
Nah.
Yes, I would.
Action Comics number
And can
one?
I say, what year was Nick Cage's copy stolen?
2000.
2000.
Yep.
And was that one of the years that some of these lawsuits started happening? That perhaps
Oh.
Joe Shuster's family, to seek revenge, could have broken into Nicolas Cage's house, stolen a copy of Superman #1 to show Nicolas Cage, who's the boss.
Wait, they've got no beef with Cage.
You're thinking of Tony Danza. He was the boss in the end.
He was.
That was a show from before you were born.
I do
Dave.
know who Tony Danza is.
Because we're young.
Oh, you kids. See, I'm flipping it. Oh, little kiddies. Yeah, you little children. I can hardly see you, so little. You're under my feet. Fuck off. Thank you.
Oh, he's returned to form. I love it.
Yeah. Bounce back.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the father of the podcast.
Yeah.
We respect
Grandfather.
Grandfather.
Come on,
you.
mate.
Sorry. I would
Oh,
like
sorry,
to,
we're back. Okay,
so
yeah.
I would really, really like to hear about what happens.
Okay,
to-
so it was stolen in 2000. In 2011, so after 11 years after.
Hang on.
Does it check
Yep,
out? I
that
wasn't
might-
sure.
yep,
Okay,
no,
good,
that
because I've only
works.
got 10 fingers, so it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to... It's kind of...
That works
I ran
out.
out and I'm like, oh, God, no.
Well, luckily, I've got a third thumb, so I have 11.
That's-
so.
2011, Jess.
Yeah. So basically, a man
good year.
named Dan Dotson, who is he's an auctioneer in Los Angeles, and he's also been on the TV show Storage Wars. People might know him from that. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
I've definitely seen an episode, so maybe.
Yeah, it's probably him. So he was approached by one of his clients, a man named Sylvester Lozano.
Great name.
That
I
is
know, right?
The most trustworthy name I've come
And he
across.
said,
in a long time.
basically, I've got this Superman comic book. What do you think it's worth? And he sort of opened it up and he flipped through the pages and he's like, oh, this is a brand new comic book. Like, this is... Like, it says 1930... It says Action Comics #1, 1938, but it's brand new. It's, it must be a reproduction.
Wow.
But clearly not. So Dotson goes to introduces Lozano to another man, Mark Balello, who's another auctioneer, also on Storage Wars.
Also trustworthy as
You
fuck.
might have recognized that guy from Storage Wars, who said he knew the biggest comic book dealer in the US. So he contacted Stephen Fischler from Metropolis Collectibles from earlier in the tale.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he sent Fischler. He took a photo of the comic book and he said, "What do you reckon? $1 million. What do you reckon for this one?" And Fischler's like, immediately he's like, "That's it." Like, because you can, like, it had certain little printing errors on the front cover, like little details, and he's like, "That is definitely like it
That's
doesn't have."
you mean that's the Nicolas Cage
It's
copy?
a Nicolas Cage Action Comics #1. He's like, I've seen it before. I've seen a photo of it. I know.
Yeah, because surely he'd have it documented
Yeah.
for the
he's-
insurance, right?
He's like, okay, it's got a little
Oh, sure,
bit of
yeah.
dot of blue missing from the banner, so that's in this one, and and so he's like, okay, that's
Wow.
so basically Fischler from Metropolis Collectibles and Don Rychek, who's the art theft LAPD investigator, decided we'll do a sting. What we'll do is they set up a meeting at Balelo's warehouse.
That sounds fun.
Krychek posed as Fischler's associate, and they had some police officers outside. And they said, "Hey, this is." Fischler was like, he examined it, and he's like, "This is so good. How did you get it?" And Lozano's like, "Oh, I bought an old storage unit a few months ago. It was in a box full of books. It was within a hardcover book, like a hardcover book, and that's how it survived. Just found it. There must have been there for, for decades. Who knows? Kind
Do
of
we
thing.
do we trust him?
No.
Yeah, 100%.
That could have that could happen though.
Could.
If the person had stolen it, just ditched it.
And
No,
ditched
but it said
and
it's
put it
been in
in
there for a long time. See, that's what fucked him. If he said he found it recently in a thing that could have easily just have gone in there recently, right?
Oh,
I explained that well.
because the concept of storage
No,
wars
I
is that
get
they
it.
buy empty like lockers that are unclaimed, right?
That's right. Or people can't afford to maintain them, and they lose the rights.
and they get
to it.
whatever's inside.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
many years, you are right, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So basically, Fischler and Rychek were there. They examined the book, and Fischler gives them the nod, like, "This is the real thing." And Rychek's like, "Here's my LAPD business card. This is you're not getting $1 million for this. You're
You're
not getting
nicked."
anything." Yeah.
You're getting 1,000,000 years. Nah, probably not that long,
Probably-
but
no, probably less than
probably
that.
quite a bit. But it sounded cool if I said it like that.
So
yeah, dickhead.
Woo! So they got the photo they had, like the auction photo of the original. They compared it to this. There's 15 points on the cover that are identical to the one there, and they're like, okay, this is the one. And so Nicolas Cage issued a statement. He said, "It is divine providence that the comic was found,
Ugh.
and I am hopeful that the heirloom will be returned to my family." And then
Finally, proof that God exists.
and then he
I found my $1 million comic book.
it went to the insurance company. They settled the claim. It was returned to his family, and then he immediately put it up for auction
What?
straight away.
What? Did he just find it was tainted?
I guess. Well, I guess so. But also, he owes millions of dollars to the IRS.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
So he had to
forgot.
sell any number of his castles.
Was he just like, oh, thank fuck, I really needed that $1.5 million?
Yeah, this will get me through the week.
The
So he
value
sold-
of it would have risen by a... Oh, you were
Well,
about
he,
to
well,
say
he,
that.
this Nicolas Cage 9 sold for $2,161,000.
Okay, so that'll put a dent in the 16 mil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Is that you putting a dent in something? Yeah, cool. Get it.
Yeah,
So Sylvester Lozano, who said he found this
Oh,
number one in a
yeah.
storage unit, he was never charged in the end. He told Hrychek he couldn't remember precisely which unit the book came from, since he'd buy several at a time and just mix up the contents, put them in the back of his truck. Hrychek narrowed it down to a number of units, but he was like, okay, like the units he claimed, and he's like, okay, well, all the units we looked at them all, and none of them had any connection to people who knew Nicolas Cage or would have been at Nicolas Cage's house. So
What, do they just cross-check it with 100 most influential people on IMDb, and they're like, well, none of these people are A-listers.
Helen Mirren? No, she wouldn't do it.
Look
so
at her face.
guys, I'm sorry to say, but mystery episode. We don't know.
Oh,
we don't
it's
know.
a secret mystery!
Secret mystery
I
episode.
have to say that is typical of the bloody police, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone just says,
Here we
oh,
go.
I don't know where I got it. Yep, let him off.
Yeah, let him
off. I can't remember where I got it from. When has that ever stood up in court? And yes, I am a judge/lawyer.
I can't remember where I got it from, and I didn't know.
So did I misunderstand that? Didn't he say that it was in a thing that had been locked up for ages?
That's what he said,
So that makes it sound like he's full of shit to me.
in a way. But
But how does he know?
Matt should have been the cop.
Yeah.
Damn
Glad
it.
you were there.
I missed another opportunity.
So Mark Bolelo, who's the other man who had hoped to make this big commission selling this discovered Superman action.
Oh
comics
yeah, the
number one.
guy, was he pissed off? Because
Well,
he was like,
he committed suicide in 2013. So
because of it?
who knows?
Superman
He
curse.
was arrested for
Superman curse.
Yeah, he was arrested for possessing meth. So maybe that had something to do with it. But maybe it's a
Meth
coincidence.
curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Divine providence.
So we
Superman.
never
That proves that meth exists.
yeah. So we never
Beyond all reasonable doubt.
so ultimately we never learned who stole that from, and also, but you know, Action Comics number 1 was recovered. The two other comics stolen from Nicolas Cage, so Detective Comics number 1 and Detective Comics number 27, the first appearance of Batman, were never recovered. So
which two? Sorry.
Detective Comics number 1, so DC's first ever issue, was stolen from Nicolas Cage, and
So they picked out the three.
Yeah.
Probably, are they the big three?
they're the big three. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Detective 27, which is the first appearance of Batman.
That's
Gone
incredible.
forever. We've never seen it. It has yet to be
Hey,
recovered.
there's time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Are they as rare? Are they like...
They're not as rare, no.
So wait,
At this point, this was Detective 27 was like 1940. Comic books had picked up steam, and there's just it's not that people thought it was more valuable at the time. There was just more copies to go around. I
Right.
think.
oh man.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
More people have like bulldozed their house and found a copy in the wall.
So they're the...
Surely.
Sorry, I'm going to like now go off on different tangents, but they're the big
Please.
three.
Any questions, anyone?
No.
What would make
It's
up
okay.
what would make up the next, what would round out the top 5 of the big comics?
Oh, good question. Maybe
Any Marvel ones
maybe
in there?
Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man. That might
Right.
do it.
Yep.
Fantastic Four number 1
What about the Ant-Man movie?
on Blu-ray or Blu-ray.
They only made one copy.
Only one go. That's right.
And Nicolas Cage owns it.
Yeah. Well, for a while. He's going to own it for a while until somebody just walks in.
God, he was good in The Rock though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
She-Hulk,
That's a good
though.
film.
So good.
She-Hulk, that'd be a big one.
She-Hulk the movie.
I'm just going to check my notes, see if I've missed anything.
Could you show me a picture of She-Hulk?
Yes.
I can probably look it up myself
I'm
too.
picturing it as normal Hulk with long hair.
No.
I'm picturing Princess Fiona from Shrek.
Oh yeah.
You are all very incorrect. Hang on.
No, but I'm
Oh, no,
closest.
Well, I can ruin the magic for you, right?
Yeah, go on.
I'm imagining the Ukrainian gold medalist for weightlifting. from
Why
the
Ukrainian? That's
2012
kind of
Olympic Games.
racist.
No, I think I think if you check the records at the
Oh, she's a babe.
Right.
She's a babe. She's green.
She's not hulking at all.
Green, yeah.
She's got some muscles.
I reckon I can
Slim
bash
Hulk.
her. Oh, God.
There you are. Whoa!
I meant in a fight. Fair fight. Oh, God.
Wow.
Well, I mean, in a
Definitely not-
fight. What else would you have meant? I mean, in a fight. A fair fight.
I definitely am against all forms of violence, especially against women.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's very funny.
Spider-Man.
Well, I
What about
think
so
she
X-Men and
holds
stuff?
great.
Those ones aren't like that at all. X-Men comics aren't at all like these sought after ones.
Well, when did the
Like,
X-Men
for-
debut?
The X-Men debuted in the 60s.
Oh, so
so
it's too
I mean,
late by
they
then.
certainly have, but you can get an X-Men #1 for sort of a reasonable rate, like
Right.
5 figures, you know.
Figures right. Okay. All right, and will. That makes sense. It's got to be that's why the Marvel ones aren't as rare because they're a newer
exactly,
company.
yeah.
Gotcha.
What about Yellow Kid #1?
Oh, I don't know.
See, that might not even exist. Wait, weren't
It's a
there are
newspaper, wasn't it?
newspapers? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Phantom #1? Would that be worth money?
I don't think so.
To certain people, but do you want to deal with those people?
No, thank you.
Yeah, and I just wouldn't want to touch them. Like you'd have to like shake their hand. Ugh,
No,
icky.
thank you.
He's cool, all right?
He's not cool.
He's the ghost
He's not
who
cool. champ.
walks.
Yeah, well,
Have you
the
ever
other
seen
ones
the goat-
float, which is way cooler.
Yeah, it's better than
I
walking.
just liked
isn't it?
his horse and the waterfall.
Yeah. Hero was the name of the horse, I think.
Oh, that's a sick name
Hero
for a
the horse.
horse. Fuck
That's a
yeah.
good
Or his
name.
dog. Maybe his dog was named Hero. It doesn't matter.
One of them was called
Yeah, one
Hero.
of them.
Yeah. Cool.
What is it's the ghost who walks. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
I don't know about that as a thing.
Didn't Dave just
It feels
say that?
so boring. No, I'm just recapping. No good.
It's got the Matt Stewart no good tick of disapproval.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good, I think.
Yeah, come.
Do you want any more fun facts or anything? I don't know if I have any left.
No, that was great.
Yeah, I want
If you've got fun facts, even one would be cool.
Okay, here's one. So, 1992, we had the...
Oh, a good year.
Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry,
thank
I put
you.
it at Jess and she
In
got
1992...
I missed my own catchphrase.
I think we've just about covered it. Hang on, where am I? Oh, actually, yeah. In 1992, we had the Death of Superman storyline that broke big in the mainstream media. Superman was killed by a monster called Doomsday, and he was replaced by 4 replacement Superman.
Oh.
4?
4, yeah. One was Superboy, the clone.
Sure.
There was a cyborg Superman. There was a guy called the Man of Tomorrow who was basically Superman, except he had a big yellow visor. And there was Steel, who's an African American man in like a big armored suit. So it's
Wait,
So,
what?
can-
I don't.
and-
wait,
and-
so he died and then he broke into 4 bits.
oh no, just these pretenders
replaced him.
showed up to, and so at the time Superman
The
had,
Pretenders were in it. The band.
yeah, the band the Pretenders. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. I might get
Chrissy
into
Hine.
comic
Got a
books.
little LP on the front cover. It was pretty good. Yeah, so there were 4 Superman books at the time, so each of them got their own one kind of thing. But basically, this came about. This was a huge media event, and it's like, oh, Superman, he's finally reached his end. But basically, this happened because they decided, okay, well, Lois Lane and Clark Kent, they're in love. They're going to get married at some point. Let's do a Superman Lois Lane wedding storyline. And then they discovered that
6 issues when they're planning the wedding. What kind of flowers should we have?
oh, just get whatever you want, Lois. It's fine. God.
I'd like it the other way around. And
You know, I was actually doing an impression of Superman.
Superman?
Oh, very good.
She was like, shut up.
Can we have this sort of kryptonite arrangement on the front? No.
No, that'll kill my heart.
So basically, they were going to do this, but then in the TV series Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, they had also planned to do a Lois Lane and Superman get married, but that was going to take a long time to, they're going to do it next season.
Yeah, you got to book the.
You got to book the venue,
ceremony.
real people, and so basically they went, okay, well tell you what, TV, you can't steal our thunder. We won't steal your thunder. We'll do them both at the same time. So we just need a storyline to fill in. Like they had to brainstormed around the table of like, all right, what could Superman do before he gets
kill
married?
him.
Then they just went, yeah, it was hours of debating, and somebody went, well, just kill him. Who cares? I'm sick of dealing with Superman. We'll just kill him. And so they did.
But that means they can't do the wedding.
They bring him back. Nobody ever really dies in comics.
So they brought him back?
They did, yeah.
And then he got married, right?
Yeah. Then he got married. Then he turned into Electric Superman.
Nick, I don't look. I'm feeling like I'm so out of my depth now. So there's
boy,
4
here we go.
books of Superman, and each of them got one. What does that mean?
Well, there was Adventures of Superman. There was Superman. there was The Man of Steel, and there was another one that I can't remember the name.
And they're all done by DC somehow.
all done by DC, different artists, one a week. That was how it was in the 90s.
That's ridiculous.
To be alive in the 90s.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
Jeez Louise. I can't. I'm far too young.
Anyway, that's all I got, guys. It's
That-
fun little fun fact.
That was a great. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Oh,
Guys.
thanks, guys. Thank you, guys.
Genuinely great report, great
Thank you.
structure. Love
I
how
hope
you
you
kept
learned.
jumping in between the decades. I will
you,
just
you
say,
we're good at shutting
mwah.
us up and just keep going. It's a hard skill.
No, but I feel bad about that.
No,
I
don't.
let you run.
Don't, because otherwise
you keep doing it.
we'd be here for 100
That's
years.
true, yeah.
thank you, Nick Mason.
No
You're
one's
very
ever
welcome.
had to put up with 3 of us before.
Yeah,
either.
that was full on.
That's true.
Sorry if that was hard to listen to. At
But
any
it was
point.
also an historic episode.
In what way?
Because there was 4 of us.
Okay, yeah, great. Oh, like the 4 Supermens.
Oh,
Yeah, like the Fabulous Four.
Which
from
one?
earlier.
Can you name us all? Who would I be? Would I,
Fabulous Four of
would
the
I be-
Fabulous
Yeah,
Four.
there's Fabulous Four.
would I
You'd
be
be Beatty.
Steel?
Oh.
Am I the tall African
You'd
American
be
one?
steel wool like that bloody beard you got there,
Bloody
mate.
beard.
Hang on, no, too far. I'm all up for a bit of fun and games.
No, you'd be the visor one because you've got glasses.
Great, visor guy.
Yeah.
I'm super boy. Let's be honest.
Yep.
So what am I? Does that leave me?
You
of
could be
course.
Cyborg Superman or Man of Steel.
Cyborg.
All right, cool. Love it.
So you're Man of Steel, Mason.
Love it. Perfect.
All right,
Perfect.
do it.
Great.
Nick Man of Steel, Mason, thank you for joining us on this episode. Now, we would like to hear more of your voice. You do your own podcast every single week.
I do. If you're not sick of me talking about superheroes ad nauseum, we do it non-stop on The Weekly Planet, which is on iTunes. We'll talk about, my friend James, Mr. Sunday Movies. We talk about superhero movies and TV shows and comic books and video games and all that sort of stuff.
I listen to it and I have a lot of... I wish... this is the best because I can ask the questions because I'm listening to it and you're talking about all these interesting things. I'm like, pause. I'm going to go Google some stuff for a while. But here,
you've got
stop
Mason's
and-
number. Pause and text him.
Oh, that doesn't sound tedious for him at all.
Yeah, that seems really unfair to Meso.
Actually,
Actually, has a life.
3 years ago on episode 49, what did this reference mean?
No idea. Don't remember.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you about last week. I don't know.
Now, before we wrap up,
Yes.
we have promised that people that contribute $5 or more per month to our Patreon, which, as we said, is going quite well, we'll do a shout-out to them at the end of the episode. So I thought that maybe we go around the table. There's 4 of us here. We each will try and pronounce, but probably mispronounce a...
Don't set me up to fail, mate. I'm going to nail it.
Me too. I'm feeling very confident.
Now, we're just going to go in order of the people that pledged.
Okay,
so
sure.
I'm going to let whoever it is down.
you'll probably do a better...
Cool.
Because they're like, I wonder if Matt will call it. I wonder if Jess will call it.
Yeah.
No, it's me. It's me. I'm the other guy.
I would like to say a massive thank you to the first ever person to contribute to our
Wow.
Patreon.
Wow, that's cool.
Contributing...
Our issue 1.
That's right.
Yeah, you're
Action
issue
Comics.
one.
One day we'll knock down a wall and he'll be in the wall.
Oh boy. Oh, so it's a he.
It is a he.
Ooh, a bit of sizzle.
Now I'd like to say a big thank you, and I hope I do not mispronounce your name, or I hope in a way that I do. It's probably a badge of honour.
Sure.
To Patrick Wadden.
Patrick.
Wadsy.
He was.
Wadsy, a bloody legend.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
You are possibly our number 1 fan. Possibly.
Well, eager.
Or you were online at the time we announced that we had a Patreon. Either way, thank you.
All good. All right, passing the phone.
So Patrick Wadden.
Passing the phone to number 2. And also the second best on the podcast.
Oh, I got a really good one to announce. You two. Everyone else got trickier ones.
Oh.
Look, I'd love
Can
to.
I go now then?
No.
Ah.
Hey,
my challenge.
number 2 on the list. What a bloody legend, Mr. Andrew Eastwood. Cheers to you, big
Cheers
dick.
to you.
All right.
You sound
Tasty.
so enthusiastic.
Cheers, Big Dick.
Big dick's a saying, isn't it? That's what you say. That's a term of endearment to your friends.
Our third... Wait, who am I looking at?
Third
okay,
from the
nope,
bottom.
no, I got it. Okay.
Third from the bottom.
Yeah, I was like, this, I don't recognize. Okay. Third to pledge is Piet.
Ooh.
It's one name, like Cher.
That's right. The Piet.
The Piet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Piet.
Wow.
4 from the bottom.
We
Above
Bottom.
Piet.
No, we do
very good.
Piet. We appreciate that to no end.
Thank you so much.
Jess, you're so young with your fresh references about Cher.
Sure.
Yeah,
as-
I am.
As the 4th member of Do Go On.
That's right, mate.
Look, I hope you're going to get your money's worth, and one day we'll do a 4th episode of this podcast. But in the meantime, thank you to Zach Steinbacher.
Hey.
He's the great,
Good
the
on
great
you.
man. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Zach Steinbacher, Meso.
Thanks so much, guys.
Meso appreciates it, don't you, Meso?
Absolutely, I do.
And we all appreciate it. Thank you very much, everyone that has been contributing. We're going to release our first ever bonus episode at the very start of December, because these I didn't realize this, but the each month, because you pledge for a month, it goes through on the first of each month, so there's no point. We'll release our first episode.
Dave likes to tell you guys more than you need to know. Too long, don't read. There's going to be an episode out at the start of December. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Well, I mean, they're an hour and 40 minutes in. I may as well keep the pain going. No, we'll release our first mini episode, and that's for people that pledge $10 or more a month. So get in there. I cannot wait. I've got the topic picked out. It's going to be fun.
Great.
Could be a mystery.
Awesome. Also get in contact on Twitter, Facebook,
and
Instagram, email.
At Do Go On Pod for all the first three there, and email dogoonpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. But Meso, have you got? We follow you on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter. If you want to,
Wikipedia Brown. Mm-hmm. It's a great joke. I still get
Thank
it.
you. It feels
Still
good,
get
right?
it.
It's good when Dave gets the joke.
I still get it.
Yeah,
Still get it. I still get it.
Yep.
But thanks so much for listening, guys. We do appreciate that. If you are new to the podcast, maybe Meso has brought you over here. We've got 55 other episodes you can go back through our back catalogue, including 2 of which that feature
I'm also on those.
the Man, the Magic.
If you're new listeners, just exclusively download those 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
No, you know what?
Smart.
Don't.
In fact, I
Yeah.
imagine that they will do exactly that.
You know what? As someone who was a fan of this podcast long before I was on this podcast, if you are new and you're listening to this, download all the episodes because they are very fantastic.
Aw, thanks, mate.
Thank you. We will be
Welcome,
using
Meso.
that little sting of your voice at the end of every episode from now on.
And on posters for live shows.
Yeah, right?
We definitely will.
Yeah.
Live shows, we might do one soon. Who knows? We'll keep you in the loop. But until then, I will say a goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
Meso.
Bye.
That's the best catchphrase of them all.